Did you know that Henry Ford, the man who revolutionized the automobile industry, was born in a simple farmhouse? On a warm summer day, the 30th of July in the year 1863, a visionary was born in the pastoral landscape of Greenfield Township, Michigan. Young Henry Ford, a curious child with an inherent interest in mechanics, would often find himself dismantling and reassembling timepieces. His fascination for machinery was not confined to the farm or the clock on the wall. It was a passion that defied the boundaries of his humble beginnings. At the tender age of 16, he made a bold decision. He chose to leave the comforts of his home to venture into the city of Detroit, in pursuit of his mechanical dreams. A simple beginning indeed, but one that would lead to a revolution in the world of transportation. From a humble mechanic to the founder of one of the most iconic car companies, Henry Ford's journey is nothing short of remarkable. In the early 1900s, a visionary named Henry Ford had a dream. He imagined a world where every family could own a car, not just the wealthy. With this dream in mind, Ford decided to set up his own automobile company. The year was 1903, and the Ford Motor Company was born. In the beginning, it was far from smooth sailing. The company faced numerous challenges, from financial difficulties to skepticism from the public. Cars were still a novelty, a luxury item beyond the reach of ordinary people. But Ford remained undeterred, driven by his firm belief that cars could and should be for everyone. The early years saw the company experimenting with various models, each one an improvement on the last. The Model A, Model B, Model C, all the way through to Model S. But it was the Model T, introduced in 1908, that truly revolutionized the automobile industry. The Model T, often referred to as the Tin Lizzie, was a game changer. It was reliable, easy to drive, and most importantly, affordable. For the first time, owning a car became a realistic possibility for the average American family. The Model T was not just a car, it was a symbol of freedom and independence. It represented the opportunity to go wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted. The success of the Model T catapulted the Ford Motor Company into the limelight. Suddenly, Ford was not just a car manufacturer, it was a household name. The company's production skyrocketed, and by 1920, half of all cars on American roads were Model Ts. And thus, the Ford Motor Company began its journey, destined to leave a significant mark on the automobile industry. Innovation doesn't stop at creation. Henry Ford proved this with his introduction of the assembly line. Imagine a world where every product you use is painstakingly crafted by hand, one piece at a time. That was the reality before Henry Ford's ingenious innovation. In 1913, Ford introduced a concept that would forever alter the landscape of production: the assembly line. This wasn't just a tweak in the automobile manufacturing process, it was a complete overhaul. Ford's assembly line was a revolutionary idea that hinged on the principle of division of labor, breaking down the car manufacturing process into smaller, manageable tasks. Each worker specialized in one specific task, repeated over and over, which significantly reduced the time taken to produce a single car. Ford's assembly line was like a well-oiled machine, a symphony of efficiency, where each component had its role to play. The chassis, the beating heart of the car, was no longer stationary. Instead, it moved through the factory on conveyors, stopping at various stations where workers would add parts to it. This movement was the assembly line's defining feature, a never-before-seen sight in factories. This innovative process had profound implications. It didn't just speed up production, it made automobiles accessible to the average American. By reducing the time spent on production, Ford was able to cut costs and, in turn, lower the price of his cars. The Model T, once a luxury item, became a product for the masses. But the impact of Ford's assembly line wasn't confined to the automobile industry. It was a blueprint that other industries soon adopted, revolutionizing the entire manufacturing sector. It was a paradigm shift that ushered in a new era of mass production and consumption. Henry Ford's assembly line was a testament to his belief in constant innovation. It wasn't just about making cars faster or cheaper, it was about challenging the status quo, pushing boundaries, and redefining what was possible. With the assembly line, Ford didn't just make cars, he shaped the future of manufacturing. The Ford legacy didn't end with Henry. His family carried forward his vision and passion for automobiles. The Ford story is one of innovation, resilience, and a relentless drive to shape the future of mobility. This story didn't end with Henry Ford. His son, Edsel Ford, picked up the mantle and continued to steer the company towards prosperity and innovation. Edsel Ford, born in 1993, was the only child of Henry and Clara Ford. From a young age, he showed a keen interest in his father's work. Edsel's creative vision and refined aesthetic sense led to the design of some iconic Ford models. His most significant contribution was the Ford Model A, a classic car that showcased the perfect blend of affordability and style. His passion for art and design breathed a new life into the Ford lineup, making Ford cars not just functional, but also visually appealing. The legacy didn't stop there. The torch was passed on to Henry Ford II, Edsel's eldest son. He took over the company at a tender age of 25, following his father's untimely death in 1943. Under his leadership, the Ford Motor Company saw a new era of growth and expansion. He successfully navigated the company through the post-war period, launching revolutionary models like the Ford Thunderbird and the Ford Mustang. These cars defined a generation and set new standards in the automobile industry. Henry Ford II's tenure also saw the establishment of Ford Europe, a significant step in making Ford a global automotive leader. His leadership brought about a new level of professionalism and corporate structure to the company, which was instrumental in maintaining Ford's dominance in the industry. The Ford family, generation after generation, stayed true to Henry Ford's vision, ensuring that the Ford Motor Company remained a dominant force in the automobile industry. The legacy of innovation, resilience, and passion for automobiles continues to live on, shaping the future of mobility. Henry Ford's impact extends far beyond the boundaries of the automobile industry. This extraordinary man not only revolutionized transportation, but he also transformed the way we work and live. Let's delve into some of Ford's innovations that have had a broader impact on our society. One of the most significant is the introduction of the 5-day workweek. Before Ford, 6-day workweeks were the norm. But Ford, in his wisdom, recognized the value of leisure time. He believed that workers should have more time to spend with their families and enjoy the fruits of their labor. This concept was revolutionary at the time, but it quickly caught on. Today, the 5-day workweek is standard across many industries globally, thanks to Ford's foresight. Another progressive practice Ford introduced was the $5 wage. Now, this might not sound like much today, but back in 1915, this was more than double the average wage for auto workers. Ford's rationale for this wage increase was twofold. Firstly, he wanted to reduce employee turnover, and secondly, he aimed to create a class of consumers who could afford to buy the cars they built. This wage increase was a game changer. It led to a significant improvement in workers' living standards and set a precedent that other companies eventually followed. These practices didn't just influence labor relations within Ford Motor Company, they had a ripple effect worldwide. Ford's philosophies transformed the relationship between employers and employees, paving the way for the fair labor practices we see today. Henry Ford's impact on society is immeasurable. His innovations extend beyond the Model T and the assembly line, reaching into the very way we structure our work and our lives. His legacy is a testament to his vision and his unwavering belief in the dignity of labor. Henry Ford, a visionary, a pioneer, and an innovator, left an indelible mark on the world, shaping not just the automobile industry, but the very fabric of modern society. From a farmhouse in Michigan to becoming a global icon, Henry Ford's journey is a testament to the power of innovation and determination. This humble man's vision transformed not only the automobile industry, but also the very fabric of modern industrial society. His creation, the Ford Motor Company, forever changed the landscape of manufacturing with the introduction of the assembly line, a concept that continues to influence industries worldwide. Beyond the factory walls, the Ford family legacy has been about more than just cars. It's a story of resilience, entrepreneurship, and a relentless drive for progress. Through their innovations, they've impacted countless lives, shaping our perception of mobility and progress. Henry Ford once said, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." He didn't just create a faster horse, he created a revolution. And that is the legacy of Henry Ford.